Hey guys, I'm Glitter Valkyrie, and today we're going to summon on the new Heroes and Ascended Ishtar banner. I had Tina and Arthur on my bingo board for most wanted characters added to Fae this year, and I am just so excited that they are here. So we will talk about this banner as we go along, but let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I think that the plan for today is going to be to pull every colorless and green that we see, and maybe some blues and maybe some reds. I really don't know. But I did want to start out by saying I am so sorry if I sound sick. I've been under the weather for a while and I'm not feeling my sparkliest, but I really wanted to pull today. So again, I'm really sorry that I don't sound quite like myself. But I was so excited when I saw that these characters are going to be added because Tale 2's kids were some of my favorite in Gen 2. I feel like a lot of that gen kind of suffered kind of being in the shadow of their parents, but I feel like Arthur and Tina really stood out and I absolutely loved using them. And the way that I had played it, Tale 2 and Lewin were married, and so my Arthur was completely OP, probably my best unit from Gen 2, and so I'm really attached to him. And I feel like his art is so incredibly amazing. They really captured him. And if we get to 40 and we don't get anything, I think that maybe I would choose him. But I really want his sister too. So I really hope that it doesn't come to that. But I think that her art is amazing as well. And her kit is really good. So I'm really hoping that we can get them both. And as for the other characters on the banner, we have I don't know how to say his name. Era's kid. Maybe Scathach? I don't know. But I really think they did an amazing job with his art, but I will say that I am so sad that they did not give him a good kit, because I really liked using him in FE4, and I feel like he just pales in comparison to his sister, and basically a bunch of other red units, but I really do like him, so I would be really happy to get him too. And as for the last character on the banner, probably the prize for most people, we have Ascended Ishtar. And I feel like I have to be completely honest, she's not a character that I have any attachment to. I think that they did an amazing job with her art, but other than that, I probably would have wanted to see another character as... Oh! Well, I guess I did not insult her with that comment because she decided to come home. And we get a Floret. Let's check IVs. And she's perfectly neutral. I will take that. I was really pulling those blues for efficiency and for the Floret, so that is amazing. But I was saying that there were other characters that I would have liked to see as an Ascended unit. And this might be a little bit surprising, but I feel like Arvis would have been a really good choice for this banner. And he's not even a character that I like at all, but I feel like he does have kind of a redemption arc and it would have been interesting. But I don't know, maybe it wouldn't sell as well. I know that she definitely sells well. But I am very happy that we got her, and we will just keep going, and I really still don't have much of a plan. But I guess we really did cover everyone on the banner, so we can probably answer our viewer questions now. And as always, if I did not get to your question, I am so sorry. I will try to do it in a future one. And if you think of a question you want to ask me, just leave it in the comments with #question, and I will put your question on my list. So our first question today comes from Sensei in Red, and they ask, what was your first reaction or thought when you found out that Vital Astra was inheritable? So I was so shocked when I saw that it was inheritable, and after the shock wore off, I was so very sad. And that is because I can never sacrifice Marita. She is one of my favorite characters. And I really wish that that skill were on a character that I didn't like so that I could give it to a bunch of other characters. But it would have to be like, I don't know, a Larshell with a sword or something like that for me to actually sacrifice Marita, because she is a character that I love so much. So yeah, disappointment I think is what I felt when I saw that it was inheritable on Marita. But thank you for that great question. And the next question that we have today comes from Despair Gamma, and this is a rapid fire round. So let's get started. The first one is Levitane or Leg Yarn. Definitely Leg Yarn. And then Veronica or Bruno. I don't really like either one, to be quite honest, but probably Veronica. And then Elm or Leticia. I also don't like either one, but probably Leticia. And then Makoto or Arete. Definitely Makoto. And then Athos or Nomad. This is totally my nostalgia talking, but Athos. And then Nui Baba or Renea. Definitely Renea. And then young Tiki or adult Tiki. This is really tough because I actually do like both, but I guess at the end of the day, probably young Tiki because she's super adorable. And then we have Maria or Minerva. Probably Maria. Then Cordelia or Kaldori. Definitely Cordelia. And then Freya or Gunthra. Well, I'd love to say both, but if I have to choose, probably Gunthra. Oh my goodness. We got Tine. Oh my gosh, I am so excited to see her. Her art is so good. Okay, let's check IVs. And she is plus defense. She's going to be a very tanky Tine. I'm pretty sure she's made a paper. I have not looked at her stats, but I am just so happy that we got her. But we will finish up this very lucky rapid fire round. And the last one was Triandra or Plumeria. And that is super easy because Triandra is actually my favorite Fae OC. But thank you so much, Despair Gamma, for that very lucky question. And the next one that we have today comes from Maru P. And they ask, what are your thoughts on Dragalia Lost end of service announcement? I was so sad when I saw that it would be ending. I can't say that I was like completely surprised. And I will admit that I hadn't played in a really long time. I did play when it first launched, and I was super into it for a while, but I did lose interest over time. And I have seen a lot of concern that Fae is going to go the same way, but I don't feel like Dragalia is in the same place that Fae is, because Fae has an IP behind it, and I think that they're much more lucrative, and I feel like it would take a very long time for Fae to shut down. So while I am sad to see Dragalia end, I feel like Fae is in a totally different place and there's still more longevity with Fae. But thank you for that great question. And the next question that we have today comes from Time Master. And they ask, now that we have Ascended Joshua, do you think that this is IS's way of getting us special versions of non-main lord characters who aren't the main character and probably won't get a legendary alt at some point? So I think that that is definitely possible. I'm not really sure where they're going with Ascended characters right now because Joshua definitely fits that description. But then I feel like with Ishtar and Idun, it's more like a what if or what could have been if they took a different route. But I am happy to see that some characters that we maybe wouldn't have seen are getting a little bit more representation. So overall, I do think that it is a good change. But thank you for that great question. And the next question that we have today comes from Prophecy 2, and they ask, in regards to your piano playing, what game tracks do you like to play the most? I really like to play Zelda covers, actually. I love playing Gerudo Valley and Great Fairy Fountain and Zora's Domain as well. But thank you for that great... Oh my goodness. That... That is Brave Lucina. I am so happy that we pulled this blue. That is absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh. Let's check IVs. And she is plus attack. That is amazing. I guess it really doesn't matter because I do have the Forma version and I will have to merge into that one. But mine is actually not very highly merged, so I am so incredibly happy with that. So thank you, Prophecy, for that very lucky question. So we will go ahead and keep going, and our next question today comes from Oscar or Ozzy, and they ask, who is your favorite villain in Xenoblade Chronicles 2? I would say definitely Jin. I feel like he had a lot of depth, and I actually really felt bad for him, and I liked his design, and for all of those reasons, he was my favorite. But thank you for that great question. And the next one that we have today comes from the Iggs, and they ask, who do you think are the best candidates for the Fallen banner this year? So I'm not sure if these are the best candidates, but these are the characters that I personally would want to see the most. I think that Fallen Ninian is my #1 pick just because I love Ninian and I think it would be really cool. I'd also love to see like Risen King Crom. That would be amazing. And another character that I think would be interesting to see would be Dedue. I'm not sure who else they would put on there, but those are definitely the ones that I want to see the most. But thank you for that great question. And the next one that we have today comes from Blush Bakery, and they ask, who is your favorite character in Pokemon Legends Arceus? All right, so I think that I would say Irida is probably my favorite, and she's actually why I chose the Pearl Clan. I liked her design. I thought she was fun. So I think that she was my favorite. But thank you so much for that great question. And we just have a couple polls left. Hopefully we can get Arthur to come home. And if not, we can make him come home. So let's go ahead and answer our next one. And this comes from Chris England. And they ask, aside from Sarah, out of the first year 3 to 4 star healers who have not had an alt, who would you want to give an alt to? I think that my answer would be Clarine, and that is because she's one of my favorites from Binding Blade. I do have her at plus 10, and she's just a really fun character, and I think she deserves an alt. But thank you for that great question. And let's go ahead and answer our next one, and this comes from Fire Emblem. And they ask, what Resplendent heroes do you want to see from each Fire Emblem game? All right, so we can start with Shadow Dragon and New Mystery, and I think that I would pick Paula for that. And then for Shadows of Valentia, I think that I would go with Claire. And then for FE4, I think that I would say probably Sigurd. And then for Thracia, definitely Nana. And then for Binding Blade, I think that Klein and Clarine are tied. And then for FE7, there are so many, but I think that number 1 for me would be Ninian. And then for Sacred Stones, of course, we would have to go with Best Girl. Oh my goodness. we got I don't know how to say his name, guys. I'm going to guess it's Scathach, but I don't know. And he is plus defense. I am super, super happy with that. So we will do our final 2-ish polls. And to finish up answering this very lucky question, for Sacred Stones, I would pick Best Girl and Ephraim, of course. And then for Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, I would say Rayson. And for Awakening, if we could redo Lucina, that would be super great. But in all honesty, I would love to see Olivia get one. And then for Fates, definitely female Corrin. And for 3 houses, I would accept any form of Claude. But thank you again for that very lucky question. All right, so we made it to 40, so we'll back out. And we will go ahead and make Arthur come home. I am so happy that we're able to do this. Yay! Oh my goodness, they perfectly captured him with his art. I love what they did. And we get the thing. All right, so we are going to go ahead and end things here. I got everybody in the banner, and I could not be happier with how this went. I do want to wish you all the best of luck if you are summoning on this banner, and if you are saving for something like Golden Week, I wish you the best of luck with that as well. I do want to say thank you to everyone that submitted questions. I really, really appreciate it. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.